Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video we're going to start collecting Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're taking a look at the cities of Sigmar and the free city of the Vindicarum. Now in this video we're going to take a look at the special rule for Vindicarum before having a look at a couple of units we recommend to get started with for this particular faction. We'll then look at some other units we can use to expand upon that first initial couple of purchases, and then finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 1,000 points for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own force of the Vindicarum. And so, just as an aside, before we get into this video, we have previously done a getting started video for the free city of Hammerhall Gara. The list we use in that is definitely based around flagellants, which we'll talk about in just a sec, because I have some abilities in the Vindicarum that really benefit them. So the list that we've done in that video will definitely work with this particular free city, though I'd go watch that and just take in some thoughts of using this as a way to play around that army instead. There are some slight changes to the army that will need to be made to make it fit in a normal 1,000-point game, but with that said, let's talk about Unyielding Faith. Friendly Vindicarum units can receive the rally command while within 3 inch of enemy units. This is incredibly powerful. Rally used to be able to be used many times like this, and heroic healing as well was a big one of healing units in combat. Death armies can do this a lot. It is a really powerful mechanic. So in addition to this though, friendly Vindicarum flagellants can rally on a 5+ rather than 6. This is why we're talking about flagellants as well. Now, as said, we've done a video talking about a flagellant army list already. I'd definitely go have a look at that. But if you want to find maybe something different to use, and this is a particular favourite list of mine, we're going to continue on through the video looking at this in a different way than flagellants, because we have done a flagellant video already. So that said, let's get cracking on to the next slide. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, where to start? This is the Blackout Fleet Master. I think the Scourge Privateers have a fantastic place inside a Vindicarum force, and we'll talk about some of the rules they have on their units that I think work really nicely with the ability to rally into combat. Now, the Blackout Fleet Master is your standard Scourge Privateer hero. 5 wounds, 4+ save, all pretty nice. 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 2. He has the Murderous Swashbuckler rule as well, where if the unmodified hit roll for an attack member or melee weapon that ever targets him is a 1, he'll do 2 mortal wounds to the enemy after all of their attacks have been resolved. And he's also got a really cool command called At Them You Curse, where if he targets a friendly Scourge Privateer unit with all-out attack, he gives the models +1 attack in addition to the +1 to hit bonus. Now that +1 attack goes really nicely on the Blackout Corsairs, your standard Scourge Privateer troops. Now they have the options for 2 different weapon loadouts. You can either go with the paired Vicious Blades, which are 3 attacks at a 1 inch range, 4s and 4s, no range damage 1, or you can drop down to 1 attack, but you also gain the Repeater Handbow in that case, which is a 9 inch range, 2 attack, 4s and 4s, no range damage 1 ranged weapon. They have skilled swashbucklers as well, where if you ever hit the unit and roll a 1 while you're trying to hit them, they will do a mortal wound back to you as well. So a lot of attacks can come out of these models. If you've got the paired Vicious Blades, they can go up to 4 attacks each with +1 to hit, taking them to 3s. It can be an incredibly high amount of dice, where there's so many dice being rolled in that you're bound to put through wounds even on some of the toughest things your opponent can put down on the table. Now, let's look at where we can go next after these first couple of units though. And so next we have the Sorceress, and she is part of the next little combo I want to talk about using alongside those Blackheart Corsairs. And her spell lore that she has access to, being an elf, is really nice, but it is the Tenebril Blade spell we're really going to be taking for, where we can make your unit's attacks that count the enemy's armor as dash. This is incredibly powerful when you consider you can have 4 attacks per model and a unit of Blackheart Corsairs. Now the Sorceress herself, her War Scroll spell is really nice as well for -1 to hit and D3 mortal wounds, and if you ever take some Darkened Coven models as well, she can sacrifice models to give herself +2 to cast. Now, next up, we have another Scourge Privateer model in the Charybdis. This monster definitely got a glow up in the latest battle tome. It's got 12 wounds, 4+ save, and has 5 attacks with its fang tentacles at 4s and 3s, Ren 1, damage 3. And also has the Abyssal Howl, where enemy units can't receive rally or inspiring presence while they're within 12 inch of this model. This is an incredibly powerful ability to put down on the table and cause your opponent all sorts of problems. Now, if the Charybdis is our monster hunters are the Scourge Runner Chariots. These have a really cool range attack with a Ravager Harpoon, 2 attacks at 3s and 3s, Ren 2, damage D3 at an 18-inch range with those big Ravager Harpoons. Now, if they ever target a monster with these, though, they turn to damage 3, and this can be incredibly potent. On top of that, you got a few extra crossbow attacks and a decent amount of attacks in close combat as well. 6 wounds each, 5+ save, and like many chariots, you can take them in either units of 1 or units of 3 without having to spend reinforcement points. Now, lastly, we have the Endless Spells. I think there are a ton of Endless Spells that can work really nicely. The Sorceress is a good wizard. She's got good utility, especially if you do look at taking some Darkening Coven units to sacrifice. Endless Spells can be really nice, but she has got plenty of ways to boost them in particular seasons, and especially in the current season and Andor where we're in, so looking at some Endless Spells is always a good option at the moment. And so here we have our sample army list for the Vindicarum. Now, we've gone for the multi-round Chamon, and our grand strategy is going to be hold the high ground. This means we have to have a friendly unit hold within 12 inch of the center of the table at the end of the game, and our opponent can't have enemy units within that range as well. We're a perfect 1,000 points, so there is no triumph for this force, but the Blackout fleet must becomes our general, and this means the Blackout Corsairs can become battle line. He then has the command trait Unparalleled Duelist, where if our opponent ever misses a hit against him at all, they'll take a mortal wound. So this means you will get a mortal wound if you just miss him, or 2 mortal wounds if you actually roll the 1. So pretty cool little sort of punchback on him. Sorceress will be taking the Anklet of Epiphany, our artifact for the force. This allows her to add 6 inch to the range of all her spells. And then she's also got the spell Tenebril Blades as well, which is incredibly potent, as we mentioned in the video, being able to turn opponent's saves to dash. For battle line, we have 2 units of Blackout Corsairs. These are going to have their paired Vicious Blades for the 3 attacks per model, and they're both reinforced. These models are really going to be where the recursion comes in, being able to rally these back in combat so they can just start stabbing, not only with their own decent amount of attacks, and hopefully with a buff from Tenebril Blades, but also, you know, if our opponent is attacking them and trying to hurt them, they're going to generally roll a few ones and suffer some mortal wounds back in repercussion for it. We then also have a unit of 3 Scourge Runner Chariots and a Behemoth being the Charybdis. We then also have the Geminids of Ulgish. This can combine with the Charybdis to really lay down a massive sort of spread of no command point usage for our opponent. Everything in this force is wrapped up in a battle regiment, so it's a 1-drop force. We have 80 wounds on the table, both our reinforcement points used, and as mentioned, perfect 1,000 points on 1 drop. If you've got some ideas for a Scourge Privateer force, or indeed some other different Vindicarum forces, because I do think there are some really interesting sort of combos to use with this, whether with Flagellants, or indeed maybe even using something like a more defensive unit, like Free Guild Guard, or even Ironbreakers could be a really nice one, units that can hold the line well. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our great little community we have here at Central Gaming, we have a Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel, be that via Patreon or YouTube members, or by grabbing yourself some merch, whether that's stickers, t-shirt, mugs, or anything from our Teespring store as well, or by using our affiliate links, which are also linked down in the description as well, that go a long way to helping support the channel. As a special thank you to all our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to Andy C, Grimskull, Colorblind Magic, Iron Grinch, Benjamin Swallows, James Cater, Mark Harvey, Domir, Average Wargamer, JJ Austrian, Cure Dynamic, Andrew Bowen, Alderin Shot First, Kendall, Soren, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lockloric, The Johnny 84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, John Castle, and Gargamel 196. Thank you all so much for helping support the channel. It means the absolute world to us. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Once again, everyone, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.